In the past, you had different ways how to share lifelike content with your students. Mostly, you could take screenshots and share them through Google Drive, or you could share the 3D models through Google Classroom, and we have even introduced the Microsoft Teams integration in the past. But right now, I want to show you a different way how to share access to Lifelike even easier, which is generate student access. So that's what we're going to start with today. So once again, you'll find it here in the share section, and just make sure you click to the link tab, the link button. On default, you usually have screenshot open, so you gotta click the link because you want to generate a link to this 3D model. Uh, in the link section, I click on generate student access. What it does is that it provides me 3 different ways how I can generate an access code to that particular 3D model to my students. But you can actually share this content, and you can share this code with anyone. It can be fellow teacher, it can be someone you want to share lifelike content on social media with. But mostly this user flow is focusing on you working with your students and sharing the code with them. So there are 3 ways how you can do it. Number 1, you can have your students scan this QR code by sharing it on on a large screen or with your projector, and after they scan it with their devices, whether we talk about tablets or even cell phones, mobile phones, it will open the link and the code right away. You might be familiar with this tool with some other apps, including, for instance, Nearpod or i3 Learn Hub, and some others. And we decided to include it in the Lifelike classroom flow as well. Before I do that, I want to highlight one thing: the link to the code is valid for 1 month. So if you share the content, if you shared the 3D model with your students in the chat or in the email, the access to the model will stay valid for 1 month for your students to work on their project, to work on their assignments, to work on their homework. So they have time to complete it. After 1 month, it will need to be created again. Again, you always see what model you're actually sharing, and I will highlight once again that if you share the 3D model through the student access code, you share the access to the app just to that model, just to that specific model. You are not sharing the access to the whole app, enabling your students to wander around and exploring anything else in the app than just that specific model. So by this way, you always need to link the specific models to your students to enable them to work with the 3D model. So what I'm just gonna do is that I open the camera on my device. I've got iPhone S6. Um, the newer devices are usually able to recognize the QR codes just themselves. So you don't need any external apps. You simply open your camera, you point, you aim at this QR code, and I'm sure this is pretty familiar to most of you, but perhaps not to all of you. And it will offer you the possibility to open that code. So I click to confirm, and I'm just doing it on my cell phone. So, and I just want to show you that I opened the 3D model with my smartphone simply by aiming at the 3D model uh, uh, by my camera on my device. So I simply scan the QR code and it asks me if I want to open that link in the web browser. I do it and I open the 3D model. I'm really excited about this feature because it's bringing Lifeliqe closer to bring your own device kind of environment where you've got your students using all the different types of devices, perhaps even cell phones, and it's definitely bringing Lifeliqe closer to one-to-one kinds of environments. So uh, clicking on this button, you'll save the link to your clipboard, and you simply use any way, any tool, any communication channel that you use for with your students for your classroom that you want. So let me show you how this works. So I open just a new tab. I click, I use the link that I had saved to my clipboard, and I have opened that model. Really no-brainer. I'm making it really easy. I can do the same thing by perhaps using my Teams group, Teams classroom chat. So I'll simply include the link here, and my students will be able to open this model without need to log in, simply just by one click. Once again, up to you what communication, chat, what classroom chat you use to stay in touch with your student and to manage the class. It could be Teams, it could be email, it could be Google Classroom. You simply copy the link to the model with them. So there was copy link, and the third option is simply having your students type the access code in the field dedicated for that. So how they can do it? So student opens this link, online Lifeliqe student, and that's where they type this code, which is basically just a longer version or just another way how to basically access this link or opening the model through QR code. So let me show you this. So I have opened this student access code page. And let me type the code here. MX4Y ZF. I need to agree with Lifeliqe terms and conditions. I join the session, and again, and I open the link. In the past, we had some classroom flows that were a bit closer to to teacher, working in front of the classroom with a large screen or with the app connected to projector. The student access makes it definitely way easier to use Lifeliqe in one-to-one environment, mostly in environments where students have all the different types of devices, and making it really no-brainer to using it this way.